And I'm sitting there watching my favorite cartoons, the Smurfs. Y'all remember the Smurfs? Oh my God, I used to love Smurfette because I knew she was a hoe. You know ain't nobody got that many damn brothers.
I love cats. I love my cats especially, but I don't know how I feel about all cat people. I have to be honest with you now. Some of you guys are wild. Have you guys seen this Netflix documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats? Yeah, some of you have. For those of you who haven't seen it, Don't Fuck with Cats is a true crime doc on Netflix, and it's about this guy who murders a bunch of cats and posts the videos online, and then this community of cat lovers band together and they track him down, and while they're tracking him down for that, they realize that he's also killed a guy too, and they're like, that's weird. And every time I talk to a cat person about this documentary, they're always like, "Oh my God, Joel, no, I can't watch that documentary. What he does to the cats in that video is too intense. It's too awful." And I'm always like, "Yeah, but didn't he also kill a human man?" And they're like, "Yeah, I know, but I like that part. I like that part. That's what brought me to it. I love true crime, you know? I really love true crime." It is true. I'm fucking over true crime, you guys. I really am. I'm done. It's rotting our brains. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine recently about a girl who went missing my senior year of high school, and he was like, "Oh my God, did they find her?" And I was like, "Yeah, they did." And he was like, "Oh." I was like, "Sorry they didn't make a podcast about it, brah." Like, it's truly insane. Like, I don't like how we're giving all the serial killers nicknames now. Like, I'm sorry, the Craigslist killer? First of all, the Craigslist killer? There are a lot of other killers using that service as well, okay? And it's really unfair that we gave him the Craigslist killer because the Facebook Marketplace killer doesn't have the same ring. It really doesn't.
Have you ever watched HGTV? Real estate agents have to deal with the dumbest people in the world making the biggest decisions of their lives. Every episode of HGTV is like, Craig and Stasia are looking for a 2-story A-frame that's near Craig's job in the downtown, but also satisfies Stasia's need to be near the beach, which is nowhere near Craig's job. With 3 children and 9 on the way, and a max budget of $7, let's see what Lori Jo can do on this week's episode of You Don't Deserve a Beach House.
When I want to practice self-care, all right? When I want to get away from it all, I like to imagine I'm a protagonist in a Nancy Meyers movie, okay? It's about when I'm trying to feel good. If you've never seen a Nancy Meyers joint like Something's Gotta Give, It's Complicated, The Holiday, whenever Diane Keaton is feeling frisky, okay? If you've never seen a Nancy Meyers joint, I will break it down for you very simply, okay? First, imagine I'm a white woman, all right? I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s, I'm living in the hot flash, okay? I'm in a moment in time. My name is Margot with a T. And I'm wearing taupe, I'm wearing cream, I'm wearing beige. Yeah. Eggshell, ecru. And whatever I'm wearing is loose, but also fitted, you know? That's my vibe. And at some point in the movie, I will be sitting with my best friend drinking a California white wine. And I'll say, his new wife is how old? And that's every Nancy Meyers movie in a nutshell. That's it.
And I sat down on the couch and I started flipping through the TV channels and I came upon the Lifetime Network. Their slogan is Lifetime, television for women. Now, if you were to watch some of these Lifetime movies that they're most famous for, you would notice that they often involve a woman being murdered, hoodwinked, maimed, beaten, kidnapped, beheaded. You know, girl stuff. And I love that Lifetime is like, this is for you, women. Yes. So I'm sitting there on the couch. I got my work boots propped up on the coffee table. I had made it from repurposed wood from a shed out back with my roommate, Linda. And on this particular day, it was not one of those murder mysteries. It was a movie called The Truth About Jane. And I don't want to bore you straighties with the plot of this movie, but Basically, a young girl in high school realizes that she is a lesbian, and her mom, she's like, boo! And then by the end of the movie, her mom is like, yay! And that's the movie.
Here's how you know it is very tough in America to have a shitty job. Nobody cares. I can prove to you that nobody cares that you have a shitty job because there is a show on television where rich CEOs dress up as the poor people at the companies they own to fuck with them. That is a show on TV called Undercover Boss. It is the cruelest and most watchable show. And it's never a company where you need to figure out what's going on. It's never like Undercover Boss, Goldman Sachs. It's always a shitty hot dog truck at a fair. The last episode I watched was at Popeye's Chicken. I love Popeye's Chicken. I know you're looking at me like, no, I love Popeye's Chicken. I had no idea Popeye's even had a CEO. I thought it was just fried chicken and yelling. I had no idea. But the CEO of Popeye's goes undercover, does what he has to do, you know, puts a cigarette out in his eye, acid burn on his face, covers himself in blood. He walks in, and he says to the cashier, he goes, hey, what's your biggest problem? And the cashier at Popeye's responds to that by saying this. She goes, well, sometimes we run out of apple pies. That's your fucking biggest problem as a cashier at Popeye's? How many takes did they have to use to get that answer? You know, the first answer was like, yeah, we got problems. People keep giving birth in the bathroom. There's placenta all over the floor, now it's all over my hands. Nobody wants soggy placenta biscuits. Can you get AIDS from placenta? I just came to work and I'm a godfather. This is ridiculous. And one of the executives was like, we're just gonna go with apple pies.
I love TLC. My favorite show is Little People, Big World. Oh my God, wouldn't it be great if they could merge Little People, Big World with tiny houses? Little people, appropriately sized housing. Come on, TLC, do better.
Who watches Shark Tank here? Does anyone watch Shark Tank? It's my favorite show. All right, so, okay, can you imagine me just like, hey, sharks, have you ever been gay, horny, and alone in Ohio? I'd like to present to you Fruit by the Foot. And it's just a map of my head going around the Cheesecake Factory like 1,000 times. All right, can I do an impression for you? You know Barbara on the show? Barbara is the best shark, and she looks just like this. Barbara, I love her. And she does this thing, like all the sharks have said no, Barbara's the only one left, and the person's up there pleading, they're like, everyone died, or whatever the story is. And Barbara will be like, you know what? You're young, and you're smart. You're sexy. You remind me of myself when I was younger. So for that reason, I'm out. Barbara! One time she literally said, I don't like shrimp, I'm out.
I watch so many crime shows, I think I can solve things in real life. Like if I'm in traffic and there's a sign that says like, you know, missing person, I'm like, oh shit, I'm on the case. I start looking. I'm afraid that one day I'll take it too far, right? Like I'll get pulled over by a cop and he's gonna be like, did you see that stop sign? And I'm like, no, I didn't see that stop sign. Why? Because I'm looking for Amanda. What the fuck are you doing? That stop sign's not moving. Where's Amanda?
Because we all watch those murder documentaries. We all watch them right before bed for some reason. And they interview the neighbors, and the neighbors always say the same thing. The neighbors are always like, well, you know, I just can't believe it. I'm shocked. Well, he was always such a nice guy. Yeah, of course he's nice. He's doing the thing he loves. Not a lot of people get to follow their passions. If you're ever talking to your neighbor and you're like, how's it going? And he's like, every day is better than the last. Check his basement.
I can't tell you where to go. I can tell you where not to go. wherever they filmed the first 48 on A&E. Now, if you're not familiar with the show, here's what it is. Camera crews follow real homicide detectives for the first 48 hours after a murder. And the reason that that time distinction is so important is that after 48 hours, they give up on that murder. They're like, that's some old shit. What do you want to do today? You're like, how about you keep trying to solve that murder, man? That shit happened on Monday. It's Wednesday. We're not going to solve that shit. Really. There are so many amazing moments on that show. So many. A lot of the episodes take a similar path. I'm blown away, first of all, at how many times there's a witness to a murder. It's crazy. I always thought murders happen in dark alleys. Nobody saw shit. No. Every other episode, they're like, you see that shit? And the guy's like, I saw that shit, yeah. Where? Right fucking here.
I've been showing him Disney movies. That's been a lot of fun. Except they're all so problematic. If any of you have kids and you watch Disney movies with them, before every Disney movie now, it just says, look, we fucked up, okay? It says we fucked up then and now, and we're sorry, and we're gonna just leave this here, but it's fucked up, and it's true. And I'm like, what are they talking about? It's Peter Pan, you know? So we start Peter Pan, all the indigenous people they showed, oh, awful. So fuck, I'm like, this isn't good. What else? All the women in these movies, in Peter Pan, it's just these mermaids. Remember the mermaids? They're all topless, but long hair. They all speak in a whisper. They're all, oh, Peter. We miss you so much, Peter. Oh, we're so wet. We're mermaids. Like, you can't watch this. Don't even try to watch Jungle Book, okay? So I'm like, let's scrub forward. Let's see some of the newer ones. I heard Tangled was cute, so we watched Tangled. And it's about Rapunzel, you know, long blonde hair, Rapunzel. And spoiler alert, in this movie, if you cut Rapunzel's hair, something horrible happens. It turns brown! And that happens. Her hair gets cut, and then she has short, brown hair! She's revolting! But even though she's hideous, the prince still finds a way to love her. Isn't that beautiful? That's what I want my son to grow up with.
Well, one of my favorite ones to watch is Naked and Afraid. That's the best one. If you haven't seen Naked and Afraid, treat yourself. They take a man and a woman and they drop them off in some uninhabitable island or, you know, desert or Florida. And you know, like the Everglades, you know, the swamps, yeah. So they drop them off in there. They got to get butt naked and they have to survive for 21 days. And they get to bring one item. Usually the guy shows up with like some crazy knife or custom-made axe or something, right? And the woman, she shows up with like fishing nets or maybe a fire starter. But it was this one episode, this guy showed up with his axe and this woman showed up with a fucking magnifying glass. The look on his face said it all, like, magnifying glass, like, bitch, what you think, we out here solving crimes? What the hell? I love that show. There was an episode that stood out because it was a black guy on the show. Yeah, this black guy, he's paired up with this nice little white lady from North Dakota, right? They drop him off on this island and things were going great, right? So after like day 3, white lady's like, oh, Ronald, he's a good team player, and man, like the bugs and everything, it just nothing is bothering him, nothing is affecting him out here. So I think we're gonna be good. I mean, he keeps to himself, but I think we're gonna be okay. 2 days later, you find out that Ronald is homeless. These assholes booked a homeless man to go on Naked and Afraid. So no wonder nothing was affecting him. He got on that island, he thought he was at Sandals. He was like, oh shit, yeah. I can do this. This is nice.